Can't say it's planning board has the consistency review this Thursday night at 7 o'clock here in council chambers. And that's merely a consistency review with the master plan. And then it's back here before council on the 17th at 7:30.
Would you like to proceed?
Oh, sure, I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you,
You're
Mayor,
ready.
Council President, council members.
Use the mic.
Bob Goldsmith, I'm proud to have been associated with the Parking Authority for 36 years last month. We're making this presentation at the suggestion of our council liaison, your council member, Robert A. Nicole, for a proposed parking garage on Lot 10, which is the parking lot behind the post office building on a block bounded by Morris Street, Pine Street, and Dumont Place. We intend to be brief. We have a busy agenda. We want to explain the why and what is being contemplated. Our long-term parking consultant, Jerry Giosa, will address the why, and our architect, Dean Marchetto, will address what. Because of the importance of the location of this facility, the Parking Authority retained the services of Dean Marchetto to address the aesthetics of the facility, because it kind of serves as a connector between the train station and the green, and ties the train station into the heart of the town of Morristown. And that's something we haven't done before. And we've had the input of Phil Abramson, your planner, Jillian Barrett, your business administrator, Jennifer Waring from the Morristown Partnership, and it's been a cooperative effort. To come to a vision that we think is not only good but desirable, and will address some long-term needs of parking for the town of Morristown. I note that the Parking Authority was established in 1956, and in those years, the Parking Authority has been dedicated to bettering the town of Morristown, and notably, we're all very proud of the fact that in that time period, we've never taken a penny or asked for a penny from the town of Morristown. I'll note also that Mr. Fabrizio, Michael Fabrizio, the Executive Director of the Parking Authority, is here, and I noticed Commissioner Smotter and Commissioner Brady are also present. And the team is set forth there, and we appreciate their efforts, and we again thank you for the opportunity to present. Jerry Giosa is our parking consultant, and he'll address why the parking garage.
Hi, Bob. My name is Gerard Giosa. I'm president of Level G Associates. I've been parking consultant to the Morristown Parking Authority for over 20 years. Been involved in doing parking studies throughout the town, and I know it very well. I've had the pleasure of working with a great design team, and we're here to just quickly go through why we are building this parking garage, some of the site characteristics, and then Dean is going to show you what the garage looks like. I'm going to be brief because a lot of a picture is worth 1,000 words, and the pictures that Dean has are going to really tell the story of what we envision for this site. So, yeah, that's it. So just to get you situated, the town green is up on the left there, diagonally across from the post office. Our site is right behind that. It's flanked by Morris Street up top and Dumont along the left side there where the White office building is. So the working name is the Morris Dumont Parking Garage, the Lot 10 Parking Garage. We have lots of other features around there. Fidelity, the new COG residential project is just behind. So it's strategically located site. If you look at the inset diagram, you can see the town green And in light and in blue, you can see the locations of 3 parking authority garages, the Dalton Garage, Ann Bank, and the Hart Garage. And you can see that our parking garage, the Lot 10 garage, is going to kind of complete the quadrant of parking garages around the town green. And it's also, the site is strategically located, as Bob says, between the green and the train station, but also it's triangulated with the Mayo Performing Arts Center as well. It's within very reasonable walking distance to that facility. The site has multiple access points, which is going to be great for getting traffic off the streets, getting cars off the streets, getting pedestrians in and out of the site as well. The site is strategically located to intercept traffic before it reaches the downtown area, which you see on the left. You see 287 on the right. So a lot of traffic will be intercepted before it starts to get onto the streets and clutter things up. So the garage features 570 spaces after the gate. So after you pull a ticket and you start to head up the ramps, there'll be 570 spots in the garage, and 90 metered spaces are going to remain at grade on the site. And I have a diagram that shows those spaces. It's going to have modern features, high-efficiency LED lighting, rooftop solar panels, electric vehicle charging stations, and it'll have a high-tech integration system. We may even have a vehicle counting system that's going to show the number of available spaces remaining in the garage. So this is the diagram that shows in green, this is the site plan, and in green are the areas and parking spaces that are going to remain short-term for the local businesses. These are spots that you're going to be able to quickly pull in and out of and go to the local businesses. You're not going to have to go through the gates and pull a ticket and park in the garage. These are going to remain metered spaces, and the total is about 90. So we're looking at a 2020 groundbreaking and completion in 2021. During construction, we're looking to preserve about 50 to 60 on-site spaces for the local businesses. We do have the ability to work around the site and keep that number of spaces available and open at all times during construction. Also, we can relocate some of our permit parkers to the Hart Street garage and the Dalton garage, and there may be some available in the Highlands garage as well. So just quickly on the project design, you can see the garage located in the center of the site. It has a ring of buildings around it, starting with the post office at the top left, and then moving clockwise around. We have Fidelity, we have the Dunkin' Donuts, and George and Martha's, Morristown Diner. We have Wilmot Walk on the right side, 10 Wilmot, and the roller rink, and the Weichert building, all surrounding the garage. So you can see the garage is very well screened, sits interior of the site. The site is also down low at that point. It's quite a few feet below the Morris Street elevation, so that helps to keep it screened and in a central location. Also, we have opportunities on the site for these exciting kind of public spaces. Number one is we envision a plaza that's going to connect the garage to Morris Street and bring you to Morris Street very close to the town green. This would be at the same elevation, this plaza, as Morris Street, and we're envisioning that to be a beautiful space. The number two is what we're calling the Spring Street extension. That we're showing on the left side of that is going to be a 10-foot wide sidewalk that's going to go along the proposed residential development right there. And we're also looking with the traffic engineers and possibly flipping the angle parking to the right side and parallel parking on the left side. I think just functionally it will work better. And number 3 is going to be is proposed to be a transitional space where the farmer's market can be held. And you can see that the grade level of the garage is part of that space. So it's actually high headroom. You could actually have an indoor-outdoor farmer's market experience there, but it just doesn't have to be just for the farmer's market. It's a transitional space that could be used for other things as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dean, and he's going to show you what this project could look like.
Thank you, Jerry. Hello, can you hear me? Is it working? My name is Dean Marcello. I'm a fellow in the American Institute of Architects. I am founding principal of my firm, Marcello Higgins Stevie Architects, and we're located in Hoboken, New Jersey City. My firm is 40 years old. We have about 40 professionals, and I've appeared in front of the town council before on other projects. I'm pleased to be asked to participate in the design of the Lot 10 garage. I recognize it's an important project for the town, and I'd like to take you on a little vision trip of what the garage will look like. When we first started the project working with the Parking Authority, we wanted, it was our mission to try and create a great project here, not just an ordinary parking garages. You know, parking garages by themselves tend to be unattractive structures generally. They're basically slabs with columns, they're all open, you can see in, you can see the cars. But recent trends over the past decade has been to make these garages much more attractive structures, especially when they're in downtown. This particular site is very well suited for your garage because it's not on a street frontage. It's in the back of the buildings, so it's kind of not occupying your street frontage. And as Jerry and Bob said, it has incredible access to your town. So getting in and out, both as vehicles and pedestrians, is very convenient from this location. And because it's down in the hollow behind South Street, and I guess you call it the park, South Park Place, the extension of Morris Avenue, South Park Place. It's down in the hollow, and as a result, the height of the building is mitigated from different views, and I'll show you that on the screen. When we looked at the garage, what makes a nice looking garage? Well, one thing we like to do is take a look at what's around it and try to respond to the architecture of your town. And so we noticed that there are two different and distinct sides to the building. The one side that faces towards the green has more traditional buildings associated with that location. You have the post office, you have the Presbyterian Church, you have a couple of brick buildings on Morris, and of course you got all those classic buildings around the green. On the other side, that faces on Dumont and then eventually to Pine, you're closer to the Arts District. And you have the Performing Arts Center there. And so maybe the garage should have two different responses. One towards the traditional side and one towards a more artful side. And so we've taken that approach when we designed the garage. What I'd like to do is close this program and open up a 3D model. I'd like to show you the garage in context, make it a 3D presentation, and then build the components of the garage on the screen in front of you so you can see all these components that we've added to the building, try to make it a more interesting architecture. Okay, so this here is a 3D model flattened out from the upper view, like the top down. You can see on the top left there is the green, and then to the top of the garage site being right here in the center. This is South Park Place, Morris, and then Pine Street, Dumont Street. And this is the parking area currently located behind the buildings on those streets. So now I'm going to tilt this up into 3D so you can start to see the shapes of the buildings. You see the roller rink in front here, the Whiker Building, the Presbyterian Church, and this is the site for the garage. So just tilting it up a little bit, and then basically want to show you that there's a proposed residential building here that's been approved, and it's waiting for construction. And that's a new building that you haven't seen yet, so we take that into account. That's a brick building, that's the Baycott residential building. And then this is the garage. I'm gonna try to zoom in here. And as I mentioned to you, garages tend to be generally a little bit unattractive. They're built with slabs and columns, and they're generally open, and you can usually see in to see the cars. But there are several components that we added to this building in order to create an interesting view. So if we turn around the other side, you can see that these are vertical stair towers. There's one here and there's one here, and this is the basic garage. And since this side of the garage faces more towards the green and the traditional buildings, the post office is here, a new proposed brick building here, brick buildings on Morris, we wanted to create a brick facade that faced in this direction. Unfortunately, with this projector, it's not as clear as I'd like it to be, so maybe I'll just zoom in here. But you can see that the garage has been clad with a brick structure on this side that has window openings that are more typical of a building than a parking garage. They're kind of vertical instead of horizontal. There's a beautiful detailing here with brick arches. This is real brick, and if I zoomed in really close, you can probably see the brick joints here. Light fixtures, panels, metal panels, and then a screening to kind of obscure the cars from this view. There's lighting and a big canopy over the entrance on the side, and I will show you all the entrances. If we were to turn around to the other side that faces more towards the arts, what we've done is we've carried the brick base with the arches around the side of the building so it holds together. And then on the upper level, we added a series of louvers, which in the screen is hard to see, but there's a series of louvers, maybe I can zoom in here, that obscure the garage from the inside but allows it to breathe. Basically, garages are not heated, and in order to keep them safe, they have to be ventilated. So there's a code requirement that garages have to be open at least 50% on two sides. That's why a lot of these garages that you see are open horizontal slots, just wide open. So we have to clad the building in materials that are breathable, but still provide an architectural exterior. So the louvers is one way to do that. I would also mention that this garage has a solar panel array up on this half of the roof. That solar panel array will provide power for the garage, but it also provides shade and protects some of the upper level cars from snowfall. But we've used it in a clever way to create a cornice. If you look here, the solar panels extend over the building and create an upper level cornice at the top of the building, which I don't know of many garages that actually have a cornice. It's a formal architectural feature that is found on more historical buildings, but here we used it in a contemporary way so that it doesn't read as a parking garage, but rather reads as an architectural feature. Now, if we go more or less towards the Dumont side, the roller rink is here on my right. This is Dumont. This is the Whitehurst building. This is the direction which people will be walking to from the Mayo Performing Arts Center. So this section of the building is pretty apparent. You see the staircase here. And what we've done is we researched the material. We call it a scrim. A scrim is a material that's breathable. I have a sample here. It's a breathable material. It's a vinyl material. It has a 5-year life, and it can be printed with different images. So the parking authority can choose to change it up with seasons, with different years, and create an artful experience on the exterior of the garage towards the arts. So if we look at this one here, here's an example of what it could look like with fireworks, and this could be completely up to the town or the parking authority to choose. We just showed some examples of what this material can do. It's breathable, and it creates an exterior, and it hides the cars. And here's another example, if you wanted to use more of a historic option. This is George Washington and the Revolutionary War. It's a famous photograph that Morristown is very familiar with. Now, the next thing we did is we came into the stair towers. In order to make the stair towers safe, they're all glass enclosed. You can't see the glass, but this is a glass enclosed stair tower. And what we've done is behind the wall, we've created art on the walls. This could be painted on. In this case, we chose a landscape element of a tree, but this could all be designed with an artist, and it creates a nice decorative feature, and it basically makes the stair tower safe and artful in its expression. So, if we turn around again, you can see the stair tower here. You can see this is the ground floor, and as Jerry Gerosa had mentioned, there's an entrance on this side and an entrance on the other side on the ground that go right into the ground floor metered spaces. The third entrance under the fireworks room is where you go in and go up a ramp. So there's 3 entrances into the garage, 2 of which you can actually just pull in and pull out, metered parking, no gate, and it makes it very convenient for the farmer's market. We also made the ceiling height high enough, and you can see in this image here, I have a food truck in there just as a placeholder. But during events like a farmer's market, you could have, on a rainy day, you could have covered areas, you could have a truck that's inside that flexible parking area, and it can be used as a multi-purpose space for exterior events. So if we fly up here and over Morris, this is the Dunkin' Donuts here, this is the post office. And if I come in this way, this is the entrance to the garage right in here that comes off of the South Park Place. This view is over the green, looking down at the garage entrance. You can see the post office here. And if I go down to ground level, I come in here at ground level, you can see how the garage looks. I have a brick building here on the left, the brick post office building, and the brick garage. This does not look like a public parking garage. It's a much more handsome structure, and there's a stair tower here. And if you were going to walk to this garage to get your car, you would drive in here, and you'd walk on this little plaza that goes right out to the sidewalk towards the green. And if get in there just a little closer, you can get a sense of what it feels like as a pedestrian to get close up to this garage. And you'd enter right in here. This is one of those glass stair towers. Has a beautiful entrance with a canopy, and you go in and you go up the stairs to the level that your car is on, or take the elevator. So now, the other entrance is down by Spring Street. I'll show you what that feels like. So slide over here. This is the Dunkin' Donuts on my left. This is the new proposed residential building on the right. And this is that extension of Spring Street. It has parking on it on both sides. And if I get you down to ground level, you get a sense of what the garage looks like. So you see that as you peek through these openings from the perimeter streets, you get to look into a garage that has a nice handsome design with a brick facade, and it doesn't feel like a standard parking garage, but it's elevated in its design. If I zoom in a little closer, this is how you would drive into the garage, into those metered spaces on the ground floor. And then, this is going to be from a distance, but you can see I'm over the train station here. And if you were down at the train station on the platform level, you'd be able to see that the garage is visible, and you would have a destination. Here's the garage, Here's a steeple from one of the churches, and you can get a sense that this is the direction you would go in to get towards the garage. It fits into the height context of the town, and it's a landmark that's visible from the train station. And then as I fly around again, you can see the American Headquarters Plaza right here, just to give you a reference. The Performing Arts Center is here, the green, and then I can just take the last view getting back towards the main entrance on Dumont. And the last image I have is a rendering here. And so this is more of a finished rendering. That's not a model. It's a little hard to manipulate on this. So here's a view, a final view. You can see that on a day that might have a farmer's market open, there's pedestrians. And this whole public space in here between where the farmer's market could be and the walkways go in and out will be designed in conjunction with the landscape architect to create plazas and pedestrian space that are fun and walkable and have opportunities to create other activities. So with that, I'd like to just say this is a general overview of what the garage will look like, and I can answer any questions if there are any, but this is a presentation on the garage.
That's it for the presentation?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
So procedurally, would you guys be coming to the planning board for a courtesy review, or what do you anticipate?
Yes, we anticipate a capital review.
Okay. What's a capital review?
It's the statutory courtesy.
So a couple of things I'd like to see at that. I know that when the M Station project incorporated the traffic from this the development into their projects, and so I think as long as that project happens, I think this one will be well incorporated. It would be nice to see if the M Station doesn't happen and the traffic circle is not done, how will this project affect traffic at that intersection of Spring and Morris?
Let me say that Phil Abramson has worked closely with us. He's really worked with integrating our traffic engineers, the traffic engineers for the town, as well as the traffic engineers for the M project. He's probably the best, if he wouldn't mind, he's probably the best person to address that question, but I think he's taken into account the various options that may or may not happen with M Station.
Well, it's really the question of the traffic study for the whole region. One of the things that was raised with the M Station review was that we would like to see the full traffic study for all the impact. And not just this project, but the other projects along the Morristown Spring Street corridor. So I think I don't know, will the planning board then see that traffic analysis?
That's separate. I mean, I think that is anticipated prior to the redevelopment agreement for the M Station, if and when that happens. I think this would just from a procedural perspective, if M Station doesn't happen, we know that the intersection of Spring and Morris is essentially at an F now.
I think probably the most important thing is first, parking garages don't generate traffic. I mean, they don't create traffic. In fact, from 1948, when the Parking Authority law was passed after the Second World War, there was a recognition that parking authorities, parking facilities tend to reduce traffic because it gives people a destination to get to as a final point to park their cars.
I'm not asking for the
Okay.
testimony now. If you anticipate having a traffic professional at your planning board meeting, if you could just address it, if it doesn't happen.
The traffic,
Yes.
just to mention, there's an earlier slide that we just moved quickly through, but traffic, public space design, circulation, and civil engineering will certainly be addressed in the planning.
Great.
But just, again, to clarify, one of the criticisms about traffic is the fact that every developer, and i.e. in this case, the MPA is a developer. And every developer comes with their own traffic expert. So what I would emphasize to you is to work with Phil, work with our traffic expert.
We have, and we will.
So that there's one coordinated study for that corridor. Because it's not just this intersection that's rated an F, but the Elm, restaurants, other entertainment establishments, and Mayo. So what I would suggest, and you know I've been a critic of this, is the accuracy and/or the completeness of the information presented to planning boards and board of adjustments on the availability of spaces, on the count, on the number of spaces that are available for development. I'd like to see, as part of this application, more clarity on how spaces are going to be allocated and to what degree the spaces may be available for off-site parking for future development.
We've had multiple meetings with MPAC over the last few years, and we have an expectation that this will, to a large degree, address many of MPAC's parking issues.
Okay. But it's also to the degree that the spaces are reserved and available.
Yes, but I mean, we've been dealing with shared parking issues for more than 20 years now. And I think we can say quite effectively, but you're right, there are issues that will be addressed and need to be addressed.
And I think the clarity of how spaces are allocated is overdue to both the planning board and our board of adjustments. I've sat through numerous meetings, and the clarity of that, and I hear the frustration from the planning board, from the board of adjustment members also. So I think as part of your process, if you clarify that in terms of the allocation, I think that would be a great help, even further than it has been.
Thank you, Bob.
Just a couple more questions. 6 stories parking lot?
Grade plus 5 supported levels.
Okay.
Because you don't have a roof.
And the representation on the height, that it appears that the height is no higher than the monumental white brick building next door?
Yes, it is no higher than the monumental Iger building next door.
What building?
You all love that building.
That's interesting.
Any other comments from council? This is gonna, how many live attendants will be on the premises, or will there be any?
I think we haven't made a judgment on that. It's probably comparable to the Hart Street garage, where it'll be fully automated, but there'll be someone available to address concerns or issues for people, for patrons.
Any areas where trees are going to be planted around?
I would expect there will be both hardscaping and landscaping. We've not made those judgments yet.
I have a question for Mr. Marchetto.
Yes.
Team, you were the architect for Fox Rothschild, correct?
Yes.
When that building was being designed, I had seen a rendering of it with a black brick. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Instead of a red brick, it was like a black brick. It was very, very cool. Very cool. I loved it. Have you put any different renderings for this building together other than just the standard red brick that we tend to see all the time?
Well, we haven't. We can. It's easy to change the color of the brick. The building that's going up now, next to Fox Rothschild, will have that black brick on the Bank Street side, the lower side. You'll see panels of that black brick. It's a manganese iron spot brick. It's very handsome, and we use it
I think
going
it's
down.
great. Yeah, it's beautiful.
In this case, we have a blue-gray metal work going around, and we thought that the contrast with the red brick, which is a little bit more historic, in light of the post office, the Presbyterian Church, and other brick buildings on Morris, we thought that was a better selection, but we'll certainly take into consideration other alternatives.
Yeah, I mean, it has a very forward-thinking, kind of modern look to it, so if you played around with some different brick, that might be interesting.
We'll take a look.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no more other comments or questions from council members, thank you for the presentation. I'm sure it's been long awaited, and I'm sure members of the public are happy to finally see something that might be going there as a public parking lot. So appreciate your time and your efforts.
Just to answer the question posed by the member of the public, the project hasn't been approved at this point. Obviously, we haven't been to the planning board yet, and so that will yet happen.
Thank you.
Bob.
Thank you.
When are you anticipating coming?
Probably within the next 2 to 4 months. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morristown